This video explores 15 ways that you can change your life positively, simply by changing your mindset. What we believe internally, privately, and how we perceive the world around us is called our mindset. It controls the way that we react to situations, people, and the opportunities that we're presented with. You can think of mindset as a set of beliefs that have been handed down to you from the people that you spend the most time with. Often, the ideas they tell you as facts are just their own opinions, so you can see how surrounding yourself with false information can easily happen. When we share with you a different perspective and help you change your mindset, this doesn't mean that instantly things are going to be drastically different. However, these 15 pieces of advice will help you change over time. Each new situation you're facing can be a chance to change your mindset. The most important part of this journey is that you change your actions alongside your mindset. Remember, if you only put in half the effort, you'll only get half the results. We tackled the life is hard, limiting self-belief in our previous video. This feeds into the mindset of life is hard as well. You see, if you believe life is hard and you stop yourself from feeling enjoyment, then you try to change, your mindset will link back to all the previous information that you were fed by friends and family. You have had multiple occasions where they told you life is hard, and maybe that was reinforced by some challenging things that you've been through. So, changing your mindset will take some time, but if you take a step back and assess a hard situation, and remember that it's only a temporary challenge, as the weeks go by, you will be able to change your mindset and approach these tough situations with a feeling of excitement, because you know that no matter what life throws at you, you can handle it. Did you know that only 3% of the general population take action on their goals? This is because there is always some excuse ready to comfort you if you fail, or prevent you from even starting. Maybe you think you're too busy with family life or school life to add a side hustle to it. Maybe you believe it's too far-fetched and you'll never reach it anyway, so what's the point in trying? Change those negative, comfortable thoughts into a burning desire. If you truly want your dream goal, you will not be able to rest because it will be gnawing at you. So, if you don't feel passionate about it, even after changing your mindset, be honest with yourself. Is that a goal that you chose, or did someone suggest it? There's no shame in working out what you want and being strong enough to start again. Most of the time when we check off tasks that we have to do, it's typical for us to tell ourselves, I have to do this today because otherwise, blah, blah, blah. This is a firm way of looking at a chore or a task. And of course, we should all be a little structured with the use of our time, or we'll never get anything done. But if you repeatedly change, I have to do this into, oh, I get to do this, you will start to feel a lot happier and a lot more thankful. For example, later, I get to ride the bus to college. You're grateful for this because A, you don't need to walk for miles in the rain. B, you can afford the luxury of the bus and maybe listen to a podcast in comfort. C, you are heading to college, which is where you've chosen to be and which will help you explore your life journey. You see? 3 great things from one little statement. This is one of the most important ones for me, and I think that when this shifts for you, it will make you feel invigorated too. In several of our videos, we have spoken about negative mindsets and concepts. One of the biggest is telling yourself and others that you will never be able to do something. A great example of this would be, I'll never be able to afford my own house. I'll always be renting and giving money to a landlord. Change the way you speak to yourself. Ask, how can I get enough money to own my own house? By eliminating the barrier of the word never and speaking more kindly to yourself, you take the pressure off. As we mentioned at the start of the video, your mindset is created throughout your life by people around you. They give you opinions, they share facts, and as you grow, you absorb their comments like a sponge. To shift your mindset positively, you should be looking at the why. What is it that drives you to do something? Simon Sinek has a great TED Talk on this, but the bottom line is, you should always ask yourself why 3 times. For instance, you want to move to another house. Ask yourself why the first time, and this will be your basic answer. Because I need more space. Then question, why do you need more space? So I can have friends and family over to visit and have room to display my cool stuff. Lastly, why do you want to have your friends and family over? Because I love them, and sometimes I want to babysit or look after my friends' dogs. This is a positive set of reasons, and yes, you should probably think about moving home in the future. You need to ask yourself at least 3 times to reach the core reason, the honest reason for a decision. Try changing your mindset this way. Thinking that everything is predestined not only limits your happiness, but it also allows you to place the blame when things go wrong onto the world as a whole and not take responsibility for your own actions. People with this mindset can end up being lazy, negative, nihilistic, and also selfish. If you always assume that what happens is someone else's fault, then how will you ever learn from your mistakes? Choosing to understand that your presence in the universe does have an effect is the key to changing your mindset and opening up your possibilities. Whether you're setting up a business, studying at school or college, or maybe even struggling with a family situation, after a few stressful incidents, you can feel like giving up. Your mind is programmed to think, that's it, I'm done with this. Because in prehistoric times, if you were in physical danger or a fight and you kept attempting to beat the opposition, then you'd need to give up because you literally needed to rest or die. In modern times, many challenges we face are mental, or at least take a lot of mental effort to navigate. Remember, you aren't up against a saber-toothed tiger, and the challenge you're facing is also not a solid brick wall. Take some time to collect your thoughts and try again when you are rested. Everyone faces barriers. The ones that succeed understand that they can be smashed. We must explain that this section is not relating to trauma and we are not victim shaming. Obviously, when something terrible happens to a person, they require treatment and a wellness plan to protect their health. A victim mentality is when you constantly say to yourself and others, "Why do all the bad things always happen to me?" It's a very lazy and self-centered mindset, which is often cultivated by a family upbringing where you have been spoiled or sheltered, meaning that when you encounter the slightest inconvenience, you view it as a negative issue. You will often find that people with a victim mindset are the ones we make memes of on social media, the Karens of the 21st century, where they act self-entitled and the majority of the world considers them to have an unreasonable reaction to an event. So, reflect on the way that you handle small challenges in your daily life. When was the last time that you complained to a friend or family member about something trivial? Do you find yourself thinking, why me, nearly every day. If this is your current mindset, you can start to shift that into, that's a little annoying, but it's not going to ruin my day. And in this way, you will start to use the new mantra, and you can accept that yes, there is an inconvenience, and also accept that no, it's not worth dwelling on. Of course, no is a very powerful word, and there are certain instances when you need to assert your authority. However, if you say no to everything all the time, then you isolate yourself from the world and close off your options. Eventually, people will stop including you and life will pass you by. No can be damaging in two perspectives. The first I just mentioned, and the second is your personal growth and well-being. A lot of us have grown up subconsciously understanding that our families were not rich and our parents were also busy. Therefore, when we asked for something, the default answer was no. Now, as adults, we have that hardwired into our mindset so that we believe when we want something, the answer will also be no. This can lead us into not trying or denying ourselves opportunities. Next time you want something and you feel yourself immediately saying no, ask yourself why it would be a bad thing. Ask yourself the 3 whys and see if actually it could be helpful to say yes to yourself on this occasion. What is a daydream? Simply put, it's when you drift off into a dreamlike state as you would do in bed at night, except it's during the day at a point when you really should be concentrating on something else. In these dreams, your brain can process information and help you tackle the big issues in your life. Yet, if you are constantly negatively daydreaming and your mindset is currently, "Oh, I wish this was different," about multiple things in your life, this will only serve to depress you. Be mindful to change your mindset. Start to remember that there are pleasant, small things that you can do each day to change your situation. For example, if you're saving for an investment like a car or a new piece of computer equipment, you can consciously decide to forego a cup of coffee or a takeaway meal and physically put that money aside. You don't have to do this every single day, but even doing it a few times a week, you will see your savings grow and you can be confident that you are mastering your impulse control as well as creating a positive mindset. As a species, humans have carried through a sense of pride from our heritage. As animals wanting to appear the strongest in our community, to the modern day feeling of wanting to make your family proud of you and to appear successful in all aspects of your life. It's no longer about beating the apex predator in your vicinity. It's about doing what you believe is the right thing and not losing face. Many people experience their first sense of adult social shame at university or college. Imagine you're on an expensive education course either by choice or because your family have suggested it. You've sunk thousands of dollars into it, and by year 2, you realise wholeheartedly that this is not the life choice for you. It could be the wrong profession, wrong skill set, or mentally you may just feel that it's not right in some way. How many people do you know who've had the courage to constructively say that they need to start again at this point and write off their debt costs as a life lesson? Most people, especially med students and law students, will just keep on struggling in a career that they don't like because it makes money, but ultimately they will make themselves unhappy because their mindset won't let them change something once they've started and invested money in it. We call people who change their mind when it comes to education and careers as dropouts, as if they're dropped out of society, or we say they flunked. Maybe make a change to your mindset and realize that it is okay to change your beliefs, interests, and even career based on your life experience. In fact, it might be one of the strongest things to do that will also protect your future happiness. This is a very clear-cut mindset shift, but it can be hard to implement it in your daily actions. You need to realise that completing each little task to perfection is not always the best use of your time or your willpower. Imagine having OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, in the truest sense of a diagnosis. Intrusive thoughts can happen because your mind tells you when you don't complete a task or set of tasks to perfection in a certain way, you are a bad person and someone may get hurt. The sufferer often becomes stressed, incapacitated in their life, and it makes every day so much harder. In a way, by not recognising when to prioritise your perfectionist nature, you put extra strain on yourself, and you may even be disrupting your own life without knowing it. In all honesty, some of the best times in my life have happened when things didn't go to plan, or I rushed out of the door knowing I had to make do with what I had in my hands right there and then. I even met my boyfriend on a night out when I came straight from work in my uniform to see a friend's rock band. Can you imagine wearing a dirty work uniform to a show and no makeup? It was one of the best nights of my life, and guess what? Nobody cared. Nobody cared that I didn't look perfect, that I hadn't had the perfect time to get ready, because I didn't care. This one moves us nicely to our next mindset change. You need to understand that sometimes it's good to stand out in a crowd. A lot of the time, due to increased social anxiety, we want to blend in. We want to stay unnoticed and just complete whatever chore we're doing, like running to the store, doing an errand at work, or studying in a public library, just to name a few. But if everyone acted that way, they'd never get noticed or have the courage to stand up for what they believe in. So, just like me at that rock gig, don't be afraid to be confident. Just go against the norm if you feel it's the right thing to do and stand out. Because you never know who's watching and also what opportunities it can bring. Having a very linear, all or nothing mindset can lead to extreme reactions to social questions such as abortion, religion, war, politics, and human rights. It can also cause you no end of trouble with interpersonal relationships. If you are finding yourself polarised, either in a positive way or a negative way, they are both extreme. You may want to adjust your tolerance levels. For context, the legalisation of marijuana in recent years is a good example. Think of the thousands of prisoners currently incarcerated in the USA due to possession charges of solely that drug alone, no other related crimes. People were prosecuted one week, then the next week, for the same amount of marijuana, you could be walking free and even smoking it in your own home. But nobody is overturning the charges of inmates already inside jails or questioning why they were smoking weed in the first place. Now, you can purchase CBD products, and studies are proving that use of the plant can aid in terminal illness and pain control. While you might not agree with drug use, you can see that there is a huge disparity in fairness and judgment. You can't just say that all people that smoke weed are bad and gangsters. It's wise to find out all the facts and have a balanced judgment in any situation. Compassion and understanding are key to your mindset change. As we have already discussed, no is a powerful word. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "There's no way I can ever do that," you are creating a limiting self-belief, and also a mindset of self-limitation. Learn to question your thoughts and change that "no way I can do that" into a "how can I do that?" In our video about self-limiting beliefs, we mentioned that curiosity is the first stage to learning something, and that's so true of this mindset shift. Imagine if you thought your whole life you could never do something because it was too hard. Then, when you tried it, you actually find it's easy and you have that skill already. You could have done it years ago. We all have the capacity to change our mindset when faced with an appropriate situation to do so. Veganism, racism, political parties that we follow, these are all things that require knowledge and a shift in our mindset. There are news stories every day about dairy farmers who gave up their whole livelihood because they can't bear to kill cows anymore, as well as fascists changing their mindset after meeting people from different cultures and realising that there's no hate there. Those are huge, extreme examples, but in your everyday life, you can make little changes by being mindful and present in the moment. Don't just let things happen to you. Be the change and start to feel the benefits of a happier, less stressful daily life. If you have enjoyed this video and you're inspired by what you've seen, don't forget to like, subscribe and share. Let's change the world together.